How y'all doing? I'm Elgin Woodside with the Workman Network, and I'm back with another video. And today I just want to talk about my journey from transitioning from engineering to real estate. For returning people, thank you for coming back. And please make sure you like and subscribe this and share this with somebody if you feel like it was insightful, relatable, or if you liked it, or even if you hated it, just like it. Yeah, so I just want to talk about my personal journey, and I want to help other young professionals and other people, who are interested in getting into entrepreneurship or find their purpose, use my story to kind of figure out how they can, leverage that and do the things they want to in their life. So I started off talking about how I became an engineer, mechanical engineer at a chemical plant, transitioning into real estate, and then I'm transitioning into owning car dealerships. So right now we just got our first location in Louisiana for our car dealership, and we're working on franchising that model and expanding. Most recent video, I talked about my full journey of engineering, how I moved up the ranks, how made a name for myself as a mechanical engineer at our chemical plant, and just my professional life and my background and what interests me in engineering, and how it helped me leverage those skills to become good at real estate and also just business and entrepreneurship in general. But now I want to talk to you guys about my real estate journey, and this is really like the bulk of my expertise as far as things that I've really like dove real deep into and became interested in outside of engineering. It's really where like the foundation of my entrepreneurial skills and journey has came from, and also the foundation of my wealth building process that I'm working on right now, and hopefully just this journey and this explanation of the things and experiences that I've encountered can help somebody move forward in their life. So start off by talking about what initially interested me in real estate. As we all know, like most millionaires, billionaires, they all invest in real estate. That's one thing that I realized that all wealthy people had in common. They owned land, they owned real estate, they had businesses, and I felt like becoming an engineer, I already had some expertise in structural design and things like that, and was already interested in homes and building. So I feel like real estate would be an easy transition for me to start getting interested in. So I actually started listening to a lot of podcasts and reading a bunch of real estate books in college. And, I used to fall asleep listening to like Bigger Pockets podcasts and stuff like that, just getting as much knowledge as I can and expose me to the information. That way, when I graduated and became, in a position to where I can execute on the information, it allowed me to slow down that learning curve and cut it in half. Shortly following college, I moved back home to Louisiana. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, for everybody who doesn't know. And I started working my 9 to 5 as an engineer. And, I just started saving my money, hanging out after work, the typical, schedule of a 9 to 5 worker. This was right before COVID. So it actually like was very, very fun, vibrant, and things like that. But about 6 months to 8 months into my engineering journey, that's when the pandemic hit, and I was like totally confused on what I was going to do in my life. I was sitting at home bored a lot of the times, and I started wondering like, what is my purpose? And then I thought back to my days in college, and I was like, man, I used to really be interested in real estate. Like this would be a good time to start looking at properties. I got a bunch of free time. Like let me really dive into this Louisiana market, because the houses out here, if you don't know, they really aren't that expensive. Our median house is like 250, like 260, 260,000. So in order to get into the game, you really don't need that much money, especially if you use a FHA loan or one of these low down payment loans. It's very easy to get into. So my first investment, I did a lot of research. My very first investment, you get into like that analysis paralysis. I'm sure some of you guys are interested in getting into real estate. So like I really wanted to make sure my numbers were right. I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos, a bunch of podcasts, making sure I had every single calculation that I could, and research, the locations that I need to be looking at, the type of cash flow I need to have, what price point should I buy it at, how much down payment should I put down. And I came to the decision where I wanted a multi-family property for my first one. I was able to secure a low down payment loan, and I was able to only put down like 10 grand to get my first property that cash flowed me around $600 a month. So that was like my first taste of real estate. Of course, that didn't come extremely easy. As soon as I bought the house, like there was a bunch of things wrong. Like I had to replace a bunch of the AC units. I had to replace both AC units. It was a two unit multi-family house. I had to replace both of those. So that was like $1,000 and something dollars. Then we had to, make some modifications to the roof. We had to do a lot of cleaning up, painting, repairs to the side. And it was like just little small stuff that kept adding up. But now we have that home stabilized. We were able to stabilize it about a few months after purchase. And ever since then, I've been having great tenants in there. One of them actually just left, and she was a great tenant. And they were paying on time. I used the Section 8 program for my first investment property. And I was able to use the government to where they basically send you a stipend and you don't have to worry about, chasing people down for their rent, and it just directly deposits straight into your account every month. So that would be like my suggestion for people if they really wanted to get into real estate. Don't be afraid of Section 8 housing. Like people try to scare you from like the tenants. If you screen your tenants properly, they're not that bad. And then shortly after that, I actually got into a few more investment properties. Over that next year span, we actually did a new build from the ground up last year. New construction. We got into fix and flip. We got into fix and refinance. So I've been doing a lot of things with real estate. I'm going to go into more detail about those specific deals in a later video. This is kind of like a high level overview. And I just want to talk about like the main points. So like after that first investment, it really inspired me to get my real estate license too, because I realized that, if I'm really going to be doing this and be committed, I wanted to fully immerse myself into the environment and understand all the aspects. So I went ahead and got my real estate license too, like that following year. Studied for the test, took all my, courses and things like that, and passed the test on my first try. I'm just naturally a good test taker. So everybody, y'all don't have to get a real estate license. Only if you really, feel like you're going to use it and want to use it, I would say you should get it. But other than that, you really don't need it, especially if you're going to be investing. Like right now, I'm mainly an investor, and I don't really use my real estate license. I really just help my friends buy a home. Like I actually helped my ex-girlfriend buy a home. I helped one of my best friends buy a home, and another one of my friends buy a home as well last year. And I helped a few random people, that I met, just through networking and connecting, and people that I consider, acquaintances and friends now. So I would say it's a very beneficial thing that you can do to make some extra income, especially if you just want to work on your sales skills, work on your communication, your research skills, and just networking and getting to know people, and promote yourself as a personal brand. And one really cool thing I was able to do with my license, just like a little, fun fact, I was able to, how do I word this? I have an LLC for my real estate investment company, and I was able to represent my company as an agent and purchase a house from someone else. So I represented them as their agent. But of course, I had to disclose all of this because it sounds super sketchy, but it's completely legal, I promise. And so I was able to represent myself as a company and represent myself as an agent, and buy the property from somebody that I was representing as their buyer's agent. And I got two separate commission checks for that, for doing that one deal. And that was very cool. And I also got the property too. So it was very mind blowing whenever it happened. It was like a full circle moment, like how did I get here moment. So that's one cool thing about getting your license. Just like a few investment advice tips that I can give you guys, like just high level general. I would say definitely location is key. Some of the biggest mistakes I made in real estate was buying properties in places where, there's high crime or very low property values, or, very, sketchy at night. It's sometimes good to invest in those type of places if the cash flow and, the systems are right. But A lot of times the property values are going down, so you're not building that equity, which is that long-term value of having the real estate. So make sure you find a location that's halfway decent, or on an uptrend at least, even if it's lower, on the lower end right now. Another thing that I would say that's super important is making sure you have a good mentor or somebody that you follow, or a real estate agent that's helping you, make these right decisions too. It's always good to have two eyes on things versus one. Even having like a business partner, like me and my dad were business partners, so that makes things a lot easier as well. Just tossing out ideas back and forth at each other. And also, like, just some home buying and selling tips, like, make sure you get your inspections and do not ignore anything in that inspection report. And if you feel like the inspector missed something or it wasn't as thorough as you think, don't feel bad if you gotta go get another one, or if you need to go up there yourself and really take a deeper look at some of this stuff. Because once you buy that property is yours, and you bought off on all those inspections. And when you're selling a property, make sure that you disclose any information that you know is going to come up. Just be honest, because you do not want to get sued. You do not want to have people coming back at your door, hating you, your reputation bad in the streets. Like, just be upfront and honest. If you know that the house has certain defects or things are wrong, it makes the job and makes everybody's life way more easier. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I want to recap everything real quick. Just, find out if real estate is good for you. Like, listen to some podcasts. Like, just start, getting, little bits of information here and there, and see if it's a good fit. If it's not, leave it alone. Go back to what you were doing. Like, don't feel like you have to do something just because you see that I did it or somebody else did it. I'm a very unique person, and I have a unique situation where my father was already kind of in real estate before I even talked to him about it, after college. And he already had a bunch of experience. So that was like a mentor for me that I was able to leverage and learn from. But I would say, yeah, that's definitely not what you want to do. You don't want to jump into it blind, but you also don't want to overanalyze. Like, if it feels right, do all the research and do your due diligence and then execute. Also, your first investment, just realize that it's going to be a learning curve. And don't be afraid of that, because anything that's worth doing is going to have some trials and tribulations to it. There is nothing that I have achieved in my life or done in my life that has been worthwhile where I haven't had to go through things, tough times, or, just all types of stuff. Just be okay with doing the hard work. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Next video, I'm going to talk about more of the car dealership journey. Actually, like, the whole car business thing is very wild story. So I'm excited for that one. That should be coming up soon. But yeah, basically, I just want to talk about how I got into the car game. My uncle was a car. Let me stop. I'm gonna save that for later. But yeah. But if you guys enjoy this content, make sure you share it with somebody, like and subscribe to the video. Again, and also, if you want a free discovery call, I do consulting and coaching for clarity and discovering purpose. Because I know that a lot of people are like suffering from over consuming, getting a bunch of point of views from a bunch of, influencers, or you see people on Instagram and you're like, damn, like, I wish I was there. I just want to give people like that foundation to where they see what skills, strengths and things that they have that they can leverage on their own without comparing themselves to somebody else, and like reverse engineering that to see what would be a good fit, outside of 9 to 5 or outside of them doing their trade or whatever you're currently doing right now. Because I do not think that it's smart to just up and quit things, for entrepreneurship. I think that there's a place for 9 to 5 and there's a place for entrepreneurship, and they can commingle and live together in some cases. So just book a session with me. We're going to talk about it and do a discovery call. If you have any confusion, just get with me, and make sure you like, share, subscribe. Thank you.